You were right, it was deleted. And so I go back onto Lib Dem Facebook immediately and say, my post has been deleted, another day, another gag. And I also reference the fact that I'm not threatening to go at the press, Sheila, as in Sheila Ritchie, the convener, but I do want a list of journalists. At that point, Sheila Ritchie, well, somebody deletes the post off Facebook, and then Sheila Ritchie jumped onto Twitter in full visibility of me and approached the person who had been NDA'd the year before and sacked as a result of Carmichael's laptop for my regular followers, and asked them if they would like to have a phone call with her. I want to give that evidence over to an investigator. It smacks of a cover up to me. Meanwhile, you can see in everything that I'm screenshotting that I'm struggling, and I'm really struggling quite hard. On the 10th of February, I realised that I can't fix the party from within, like Wendy Chamberlain and Alex Cole-Hamilton told me. The staffer that I'd spoken to in text a few days previous had handed her resignation in, and I felt super scared and lonely. So I resigned my membership and I filled out the type form which asks you why you are resigning your membership. I included a reference to a phone call from a journalist asking what I know about the protection of paedophiles in the party, and I thought because I was the former CEO of the Lib Dems, this might provoke, if nothing else, a phone call. I never heard a thing from them. This was the best I could do, and anybody who's questioning, what is that it? Is that all you gave the party? Please know I'd given the party tens of thousands of words of evidence for a year and a bit leading up to this resignation, and they'd handled every single one of those words appallingly, and my mental health was at its worst. But I was trying to push at every possible door in the party to see if anybody would listen to me. Now, I knew I hadn't done enough. I also knew that I couldn't go to anybody senior in the party or to any formal process because of the way everything else had been handled for me and others. And I have got substantial evidence to show an independent investigator on why I did not feel psychologically safe to raise this with the party. So I decided to push back, and I was going to go back to the Lib Dems and tell them that they hadn't handled my complaints properly. And I posted about it on my personal Facebook on the morning of the 26th of February. This is Jill Riley, who would have described herself as my friend at that point. She was a Lib Dem candidate for Holyrood, and she's now their transport spokesperson. She asks me about my intriguing Facebook posts, and I tell her that I'm going to push back at the Lib Dems about how they handled my complaints. She messages back telling me that she's having a slight panic that I am going to be successful in having my complaint about the man who assaulted me heard, and then she will get elected because he won't be able to run for office. I think that is an appalling statement, and it shows the level of incompetency of Lib Dem candidates. I tell her that she has absolute faith in a process that will fail me, and I then go on to push the door to see whether she's willing to stand up with me. And I tell her that I have found out about a paedophile protection issue within the party that I've mentioned to the party on the 10th of February, and 16 days later, they haven't come back to me. What do you think she says to me then? Now, bearing in mind, before I answer that question, Willie Rennie, leader of the Scottish Lib Dems at that time, described Jill Riley as somebody who would make a tenacious MP with a true social conscience. How do you think she responded to me stating that I'm pushing back about the man who abused me and I am trying to get heard about potential paedophile protection in the party? She says to me, yes, maybe I do have absolute faith in a process that will fail you, or maybe more faith in you making change. I think that's it. Your determination is phenomenal. I cried for hours when I read that. And because I was so floored by everything what was going on, I texted her back oh, thanks, mate. And I was left once more to try and find someone who would stand by me and be my buddy in calling out what I believe to be a child protection issue.